Hey everybody, so we have got big exciting news around JP headquarters. That's what we call it around here. The first is that I've got my own free live event happening in Calgary. It's called the Weight Loss Code Live. It's going to be November 24th and 25th. This is where you come to get your head on right so you can get real about yourself and what's really going on in your life that might be holding you back from weight loss. And this week, I wanted to share two massive projects that are underway, which I know you can hopefully take advantage of. So if you live in Calgary, even if you don't, the hotel is close by the airport, come for 2 days. Come immerse yourself into the Weight Loss Code Live and get the knowledge and the coaching and the insights about what's actually going on from you from a science level in terms of fat metabolism and from the psychological level of behavior change and the so human ways we keep our own self stuck. Hi, Julie. I'm glad you're here. So a lot of people have asked, well, why would I give up a weekend? Or, oh my gosh, weekends are precious. And I totally get it. I know they are. And so is your life. Right? So are you. You're precious. And if you are carrying extra weight on your frame that you're feeling frustrated by, tired of, it's on your mind all the time, it takes your energy away, then spending those 2 days in a room, in a container that's designed to help you learn what it's going to take for you to crack your own weight loss code, what better gift could you give yourself? And really double check in to find out what actually are you telling yourself is more important. Is it being at a kid's sporting event? Is it shopping for, I don't know, Christmas? Like, who knows, right? There's a lot of ways we make ourselves so busy, and it's another strategic way to deprioritize you so that you can take care and give to everybody else, and yet the drain ultimately rests on you. So that's the first thing. The second thing is if you were not part of the Weight Loss Code Masterclass series in the spring, well, then you absolutely get the benefit of being able to come into the Weight Loss Code Masterclass series, which is launching on November 19th. So we are right into our period of letting people know about it. You're going to be getting some email communications about it if you are following me. We've got a whole new lineup of guest experts, and I'm telling you, the interviews are amazing. They always are, but these are off the charts. And it's a masterclass series for women over 40 who are really looking to understand what's going on with them. Right? One of the things I'm saying is, like, let's face it, as we're living in our bodies in our 40s, 50s, and 60s, it's a lot different than when we were living in our bodies in our 20s and 30s. We've got different things at play, different hormone things, different life stress. Usually by then in our 40s, 50s, 60s, we might have some autoimmune, some chronic inflammation, symptoms, the nagging symptoms that we can't seem to get away from, whether that's chronic fatigue or you've got like gut issues or digestive issues, or you're living with just weird aches and pains. Sometimes you don't even know what you don't know, or that you need to know it until you tune in to one of these live or one of these free events. So the Weight Loss Code Masterclass series, it's we've got 2 experts a day, we've got prizes, we've got a ton of it. I learned something in every single interview. We've got gut health experts, people who are working to help shed light on if you were a child in an environment with an addict, how that may have shaped you and influenced the choices that you make as an adult woman. We've got exercise, we've got thyroid, cortisol, hormone stuff. So it's good. So I'll put the links to that right in the comments below so you can be one of the first people to get access to it. We'll get on the list to get access to it, and then you have the opportunity to share it and to get an entry prize every time you share. I truly believe that the more women that we have in a world of getting healthy and reprioritizing themselves to be actually worth taking care of, the better our world gets. And it starts with, a better you, being a better you, and then a better family, more energy to put into the things and the passions that you love. And there's a real ripple effect that happens. Jenna, hello, Jenna. I can be on our call tomorrow. I'm here in Canada, not traveling. And then we dive into some of the more uncommon things, the things that might be plaguing you and you don't even know it. So that's what's been going on. Now, going back to transformation and the whole purpose of live events. So if you've been to a retreat, if you've been to, I'm going to try to stand so you can see the dates, maybe there. Okay, roughly speaking. If you haven't been to a live event, there's something that's really spectacular that happens when you're in a room And yes, you get the benefit of the education and the content, but you also get the benefit of sharing that journey. And I've seen incredible, and I've gone through my own incredible transformation within a 2-day or a 48-hour time period. Because here's the thing, if you're stuck, you can't see your own stuff. You cannot, when you're in it, it is so hard to be objective and see what's really going on for you. And especially, most of my clients, God, they're all smart, they're highly capable, competent, there's no shortage of drive, commitment, ambition, or success. And often their weight is like their Achilles heel, it's like the thing that they just can't quite seem to deal with or get a handle on. And yeah, it's amazing how good we get at lying to ourselves, right? Justifying, rationalizing, pretending that we don't know something that actually we do know. It's just too painful to admit that we know it, because then what? And so when you choose to go into that kind of a container, and I don't mean to make it sound all scary, I just mean that it's full of possibility, because sometimes you just get to crack open. You get to crack open, where you actually want to get to in life and what you want to do and how you want to get there. So that's what the Weight Loss Code Live is going to be all about. Yes, I'll be teaching a lot of the science that works for fat metabolism. At the end of the day, we've overcomplicated weight loss to the nth degree. And we've done it because it's a very marketable industry, right? It's one of the recession-proof, multi-billion-dollar industries. Like, think about that. No matter what else is going on in the world, women are always stressing and obsessing about their weight and looking for the way to food and body freedom. Except most of the ways that are out there don't work, right? They rely on just, the quick fix, the quick approach. And if you're watching me, and if you've, followed any of the work that I do, I take an adamant stand against it, because that shit does not last. The minute you go off that program, you'll regain the weight. And then that's what creates that yo-yo dieting roller coaster. And so we have to take it a little bit deeper. And for a lot of diet programs out there, they don't know how to take it deeper, right? It's still based on eat this, don't eat that, maybe do this exercise plan, and boom, it should be easy, right? Well, yeah, it can be easy when life is good, but how many of you are living perfectly easy lives every day, right? How many of you are living out there where there's just no stress? It's like easy street. In my life, my clients' lives, it's no one. Everybody has a multitude of things that are happening. Everybody's fulfilling a different role in life, whether you're a mom, a wife, a sister, a daughter, a colleague, a CEO, a partner, a vice president. There are so many different demands for women today. And over the years, it becomes so easily to self-abdicate, to just forget, and so this is about helping you remember, but it's also about giving you, the tools to actually do it. I've been to so many seminars, where it's like overwhelmed with content, and then you're like, I don't even know where to start. And so before you leave that Sunday, you're going to have your plan, right? You're going to have the top 3 things that are going to lead you towards where you want to go. So I totally appreciate and welcome any questions about that. I would say grab your free ticket. If you have somebody that you want to bring with you, share the link with them and tell them to register and come as well. We've got space, and I just need to know. So if you register, don't just show up with a friend, just get them to register so I can plan for you and be prepared. We've got, a couple of cool, exciting things. Okay. So on to what I actually really want to talk about besides sharing our exciting big news here is what happens when you go into breakdown? What happens? So here's the thing. A lot of people will try to not feel the hard feelings because they hurt. And right now we're living in a culture of like, okay, an attitude of gratitude, which yes, I believe that's like essential. And there's something about being really aware that whatever it is you're resisting will persist. And that means if you're unwilling to process or go into those deep, dark places, kind of like the shit pit is what I call it, the feelings stay. And I totally found myself in that like crappy place for a lot longer than I wanted. It was like seriously 4 days, like 96 hours. It was like a little roller coaster. Like I go in and I come out and I go in and I come out. And what I want you to get is there's a gift in that. There's a gift in not numbing yourself to the hard feelings, because usually they're there because there's something you need to wake up to pay attention to, whether it's in your life, your relationship, a relationship with your children, something that's not going on well with your work or with colleagues. Like there's something, you have those feelings for a reason, and it's up to you to pay attention to them. Now, you can have the feelings, but then it becomes a choice if you stay in the shit pit. How long are you going to stay there? You know, I stayed in mine because I actually knew there were more lessons coming for me, right? There's been things that I just been pushing down and pushing down and pushing down, and they bubbled to the surface in a really big way. And I'm so grateful today because I'm out of it. I feel lighter. I feel clear. And so when you go into those places in your life and you let yourself actually process what's there, the benefit on the other side is a sense of like the weight is off your shoulders. The weight has been taken off of your chest. The other thing that I think is really important, and I was talking about this with a client this morning, is when the way that you've been in the world has gotten you to a certain point, and it's kind of like you want to just like try and keep doing what you've been doing because, hey, it worked in the past, but all sorts of data around you is letting you know it's no longer working. When you've got data points, and that could just mean, you know, the money's not coming in, you might be not connected with your husband, your health may be definitely not on the right track, the weight isn't budging, you're drinking every night, you're turning to sugar, the Halloween candy pile is being emptied, you know, between 9 p.m. and midnight, and maybe in the mornings too. Like, those are all indicators that something is up. And what we do is we'll often say things like, oh, I have no willpower, I have no discipline, I've got no this, I've got no that, I'm weak, I just can't do this. And it's like, no, that's such bullshit. That's not true at all. It has nothing to do with you. It has to do with how you're choosing to perhaps respond and see things. But they're all messages. And what is the meaning you're making of them? And what are you pretending to not know? And what are you pretending to think somehow it's going to still work? Like that you just need to try harder. If you try harder and struggle more, then it will happen. I can tell you from experience, life is asking you to take a different path. Life, when you've been doing what you've always done and it's not getting you to where you want to go, that's a big wake-up call for what you're doing isn't working. So I don't know why sometimes we'll like beat our head against the brick wall until it's like really bruised, but we'll do it. And it takes somebody often outside of us to go, hey, you know what, that path you're on, there's an easier path, or there's a better path for you over here. But one of the things I heard recently is often you have to give up what you've got to get what you want. And I used this metaphor this morning. I was like, imagine if you were like holding on to something with both hands, right? Like squeeze your hands, do it with me right now. So you're holding on and you're squeezing, and you don't really, it's okay what you've got in these hands, but what you want is like right in front of you. But you need a free hand to grab it. So you have to get that, to grab the thing that's right there. You have to let go. You have to let go of what you've got so you can grab on to that next thing, so you can get what you really want. And the letting go is hard. It can feel scary because it's comfortable, right? What you've got is familiar to you, and we are creatures of comforts. We like the comforts of home. We like comforts of pleasure. We like everything that's familiar because we feel safe and secure. So to give up what we've got to get what we want takes courage. But it also requires the knowledge of, yeah, but what I'm doing isn't working. So yeah, I've got what I've got, and it's not working for me to get to where I want to go. And so really there's this element of surrender. And you may have heard this word. Some of you might like it. Some of you might hate it. Some of you might be like, what does surrender really mean? Because that was me. I'm like, surrender. Well, I'm not going to give up. That was my insight, right? I'm not going to give up. Surrender. Like I just sort of white flag, right? And I wasn't going to white flag my life. But what it actually means is to find more flow. Surrender means like, okay, I'm done with the struggle. I'm not going to have this be such a challenge for myself. I'm making it a challenge. I'm going to take responsibility for actually how challenging I'm making things in my life. And I'm going to ask and invite more support, more tenderness, more ease. And that can be a really big deal. And it can be hard. And you might not even know how, especially if there's those of you watching who don't even know what living life with support looks like. That was one of my big breakthroughs over the past week was, for me, that idea of support. I like literally was like, what is this support word you're talking about? You know, I just have to, like, my messaging when I was little was go it alone. Don't count on others. Other people will let you down. So just like suck it up, stick it out. And if you want anything done, do it yourself. That was my imprinting. And like, I'm 43 and you can see how that messaging, if you rely on yourself, well, yeah, I absolutely got shit done. I took charge of things. I was, and I'm exhausted, it leads to exhaustion. It's really hard to keep living life with that belief system. And it was no longer working for me. And so I've had the privilege of being able to have that breakdown so I could actually create that net of support. Maybe some of you are in that place too. Krista, hello, I see your little one on Facebook. She's so cute. It's been a long time. So this is the whole concept, right? When you are not getting what you want, when life is feeling hard, there's two things. Are you pretending to not know something that really you know because it hurts? Do you believe that surrender is giving up? Or can you shift your perspective of it so that you can actually go, okay, wait a minute. If I surrender and stop trying to control and hang on so tight to what I've got and surrender and just kind of let it all go. So my hands, my energy is free to grab on and make new choices and do life in a different way. Maybe that's going to help me actually get there this time. There's such a beauty of going through the breakdowns, right? The struggles, the resistance. And when we resist something, and by resist, I mean you want to numb it, you want to drink it away, you want to stuff it down, you don't want to feel it, you might want to like put chocolate on top of it, then some wine, then maybe some chips because, hey, you get pleasure in the moment. But when we do that, it will bubble up again to the surface and it gets bigger and louder. It's kind of like the what's it called? Volcano that like finally erupts. And then you've got like all of this lava and stuff to deal with. There's fallout from the eruption. So not everybody, you have to be ready, right? One of the things I ask people is, are you ready? Are you ready to give up some of the things that you've got to get what you really want? And sometimes the answer is yes. And sometimes the answer is no, I'm terrified. And being afraid is okay. In fact, I actually think it's part of it because it's going to the unknown. We're going to a place where we're like, oh, I've never been there before. Is it safe? Will I be okay? Of course. And you can just make up the stories about it, or you can take the steps to create it. And so I'm going to circle all the way back around now to the live event that's happening November 24th and 25th in Calgary. I'll put the link to it. If this resonates for you and you're like, I don't get it. I'm smart. I'm successful. I want this. I'm not sure why I'm not successful with this. Come, let me help you. Right? There's going to be a ton of laser coaching, a ton, and some people might be like, I'm like, jump at the chance. If you get the chance for free coaching, it can change your life. And for sure, join us in the Masterclass series. We've got over 2 dozen interviews. Like I said, every single interview I learned something from, and sometimes just, listening to something or hearing an expert say it in a different way, like cements it, right? You can only hear what you're ready to hear at the point that you hear it, which is why I say no beating yourself up, right? Like you weren't able to hear it and process it until just now. So this is the perfect time, right? This is exactly the place you need to be. If you're watching the replay, if you see the Facebook ads, we're wanting to bring in the women who are like, oh wait, I hear this now. I'm ready now. And it'll be super exciting. So Julie, thanks for reinforcing and reiterating all of these. And I'm so ready to give up what I've got to get what I want and need. Yes, that's a win. That's a win right there. And you get to have all of the feelings around it, right? You get to have all of the feelings of unsure and nervousness and doubt, but they're just feelings. They're not facts. Right? So their feelings are not facts, and you get to be in control of what you let come in, right? I can teach anybody how to lose weight. I can help anybody create weight loss. The deeper journey, the harder work is really learning what it takes to create the emotional resilience, to be strong mentally, emotionally, to learn how to make yourself a priority and love yourself enough to nourish in all ways so you can handle life. That's just it.